So it's another day on the farm, and I want to share some interesting insights on some of the major challenges that you must face in pig farming. If you want to open up a pig farm, if you want to run a pig farm, these are some of the challenges you must face if you are to run a pig farm. So, as usual, I'm with some of my friends. So, now there are three major challenges I believe that everybody that runs a pig farm must face. The first one is high cost of feeding. Feeding pigs is very, very expensive. It's very, very expensive. Now, I'm not saying this to discourage you from going into pig farming. I believe if pig farming is what you want to do, and you've done your research, and that is the path you want to follow, fine and good. Nothing I say here should be a discouragement to you. I'm just trying to tell you the things I've experienced, and probably so you can learn from my experiences. Now, the very first thing you must know that will be a challenge will be feeding. Now, feeding constitutes about 70% to 80% of your total expenses in pig farming. In fact, sometimes or most times, when I go to my expenditure book, because every month I write down every expenses we make on the farm. So whenever I go there, most of the money that goes out from the farm always goes to feed, because we use about four different types of feed here. So in a month, we spend a lot of money on these feeds to procure, to buy, for transport, for logistics, for flooding, for loading. All those things are money, and you have to do this repeatedly. In fact, about 2 days ago, we offloaded about 10 tons of feed here on the farm, and I know how much I spent on that. Now, it doesn't mean that as you are spending all these monies, you'll not be making your profit. No, you'll be making your profit. But at the end of the day, you must manage your business well. So, this camera is not getting these pics. I want these pics to be appearing in this video. Okay? Let's manage them like this. So, as I was saying, we offloaded some tons of feed here some days ago, and I know how much I spent. So, for you to be able to get the best results out of your pigs, for you to be able to get the best results out of your animals, you must feed them well. If you decide not to feed them, they will not grow. And when they don't grow, then there is no, then what's the use of you raising animals or having a farm when your animals cannot eat, when they cannot be fed, when you can't feed them, and when they can't grow? That means it's just a waste of time. So you must know that you spend a lot of money on feeding. Now, I'm not saying this because it's a challenge, but it's also a form of challenge. But personally, I don't see it as a challenge. But some people see that as a challenge. So that's why I'm including it in this list of challenges. For me, it's not a challenge. I don't see it that way. I see it more of as something I must do to get to my uh to achieve my goal, which is to raise these animals, have them gain weight, have them gain weight, and then sell them off and make my profit. So that is how I see it. I don't see it as a challenge. Some people see it as a challenge, but I don't. This is why it's always important that if you are running a pig farm, most especially pig farm, you must keep what you can feed. Because when you keep many animals that you cannot feed, feeding them becomes a challenge, and you start complaining, and it becomes a problem. So this is why in all you do, you must keep the number of animals you can comfortably feed, so that it doesn't become a problem for you later on. Now, the next one is getting experienced staff. This is where most people, including I myself, faced challenges. Faced challenges at some point. I used to have these problems earlier on because I was looking for experienced staff. I was always going after the experience. Now, most times I ended up getting experienced staff, but they don't have much interest in the job. So one thing I discovered, the best approach to this is get people who don't really have experience. As long as they have the interest to work, as long as they have the interest to learn, as long as they have the interest, they just love being with animals, being around animals. Those are the kind of people you should be looking out for. And when you get them, you train them. Because when you are out here looking for people with experiences, one is they come at a higher cost. Two is if you don't know what they know, they might use it to outsmart you, which is a problem. But it's always important that you have people who know more than you around you in your business. But when those people, try to be too smart, you may not be able to detect what they are doing because they know it more than you. This is why my own philosophy is in every business I'm doing, I always try my best to know as much as I can. I don't just say, oh, I have experienced staff, let me just leave them to do whatever they want to do. No, I have to know enough to be able to manage those staff, to be able to look at what they are doing and be confident that these guys are not here being funny. So this is the second challenge. So this is the best approach to it. Get people who have the interest. As long as they have the interest is the key word. They have the interest to work in the farm. They have the interest to do whatever it takes to become better at their job. And then once you get people like this, you simply enroll them for trainings. Here in the farm, we organize trainings. So you can bring your staff, we train them for you. They go back, they become more experienced. So the experience for me is not really much of an issue because anybody can gain experience, but not anybody can have the interest to work in a farm. It takes a lot of dedication, patience, and let's say love for animals to also work in a farm. So this is one thing you must look out for. Then of course the last one is water. Due to the fact that pigs consume a lot of water, we are always pumping, we are always uh, looking for more ways to increase the water capacity in the farm. So, and this will require us to be buying petrol. If there's no lights, we're buying petrol. So, uh, in the area where I stay, we've not had lights for about a year now because it's more like a rural area. So there has not been light here. So all the water I've been pumping always come from my own pockets, from like buying petrol, buying diesel sometimes just to power the farm and pump water. So when there is no electricity, pumping water always, because every day here we must pump water because the pigs are always drinking. Once they finish eating now, as they're eating there, once they finish now, they'll go and plug their mouths in the nipple drinker here. And once they suck, they can suck about 5 liters at once. So imagine a GP tank of about 1,000 liters or so. And imagine the number of pigs we have on the farm and how many they will be sucking in a day. So this water we pump always finishes. Every day we have to pump new water. But we thank God, how doing business in Nigeria is. Recently, we started seeing lights, and that has reduced my expenses by a whole lot. In fact, it's even now that I started discovering that pumping water every day was a major expense. Imagine spending about at the end of the month you are spending over 100K or so on just water alone. With that money, I can pay some stuff. I can buy some feeds. So you see, it becomes a problem when it comes to pumping water. So this is why you must try your best to be in an area where there is electricity, because once you have electricity at your farm, everything becomes easier. So for me, these are the three major challenges I've faced running a pig farm, and I believe that these things should not discourage you. These things should not stop you from doing what you want to do. If you love pig farming, what should be the most important is gain the knowledge. I always emphasize on this: gain the knowledge, because without the knowledge, you are basically doing nothing. So if you want to gain the knowledge, you can visit pig farms around you, or you can come over here for trainings, because we organize trainings here on the farm every week. And of course, you can also get the ebook on pig farming. I believe that will help you. So these are the three things you must do to gain the knowledge. Visit pig farms around you, come to our farm for training. At least get the ebook. The ebook will expose you to the basics of pig farming before you can now go for trainings, because it's always better you know the basic before you now go for a full training. Because there are some things they will say at the training that if you don't have the basic knowledge, you'll be confused. So this is why the ebook is very, very important that you get it, so it will make your job easier. So these are basically the three major challenges I believe that I have faced, and at times I keep facing in pig farming. So this is basically it.